Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? So today we're looking at a scientific perspective of depression. So my own experience of depression, I define it as a feeling of emptiness. For me, it started as a confusion, feeling a little bit lost and disconnected, which gradually worsened into like this vast emptiness. And during this time, I tried all these different treatments and therapies, and the common trend I found was any treatment that helped the nervous system, I got results and felt relief. Ultimately, I found the solution through counseling and conversation. Um, but yeah, that was a common trend, anything to do with the nervous system. So, on that note, we're going to look at the nervous system, the brain, and then go a bit more closer at the neurons to find where depression is scientifically. So, the nervous system. To explain it basically, if I say touch this flower, it's gonna send a signal through my nerves to the central nervous system and then go to my brain, generate brain activity, which creates thought and eventually a reaction. So, for example, stroke the flower, my thought is, oh, what a nice flower. And the reaction is, I'm going to stroke it again. And, for example, and then we still need to get closer at the brain to find depression. So basically the brain, it's a network of approximately 100 billion neurons. Now these neurons connect with other neurons to create the network, and they communicate through electrical and chemical signals. So it's like this network of on-offs and neurons firing, and yeah, this crazy pew, 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 pew kind of thing in the brain. And it's so hard to fathom that our experience of everything is represented by this activity in the brain. Incredible. So let's look closer at the neuron, a single neuron. So basically, how it works is it receives a signal through the dendrite, which turns the neuron on. It will then send an electrical signal down the axon and get directed to one of the axon terminals. I like that term, axon terminal. Sounds like a spaceship's going to take off or something. And then through the synapse, it will communicate to another neuron. How it does that is, so the axon terminal stores chemicals, and the chemicals are called neurotransmitters. So it receives an electrical pulse which fires these chemicals. These chemicals travel across the synapse to the dendrite of the next neuron. That in turn turns it on. Now, depression can be defined as a chemical imbalance within the brain. So what happens when these chemicals called neurotransmitters are depleted? The electrical signal will be received and the chemicals will fire, but there's not enough chemicals to turn the next neuron on, meaning it's neuron fires, chemicals go, and then there's nothing. The process stops. So it slows down the brain process. It's like a disruption within this neural network. So instead of it firing at a high frequency, the activity is lessened. So what causes this depletion of brain chemicals? Well, one thing is stress. When we stress, we overuse certain chemicals in the brain, and this depletes them. So, for example, back to the flower, we've had a stressful afternoon. All of a sudden the flower doesn't look so nice because our brains aren't fully processing its beauty, I suppose. So where does that leave us? Stress. What can we do about stress? Well, personally for me, it's been about identifying when we stress unnecessarily. So in certain times in life, we stress for no reason, and ultimately our neural network, the connections that have been made, are a product of our experiences and learning. So certain things we learn may, how would you describe it? For example, a stressful situation happens, and then that memory stays with us, and we carry this stress around all the time, and it can really affect us. So it's about recognizing the unnecessary stress and seeing if there's a past memory behind it and exploring this. Also, during times of stress, finding an activity which releases this stress. For some people, it might be fishing, walking, or I don't know, going to the beach. It's unique to every individual. So yeah, let's stress less. And the question is, what other sciences play a role in depression? And what are other ways we can reduce our stress? Much love.